Perfect. Awesome.
Yeah.
Love you.
Alrighty, take care.
You too. Bye-bye.
Okay, so, dear Heavenly Father, we come together in your name to read from this book, The Living Spring. The different lessons we hope elevate us to be more knowledgeable and more understanding of your goodness and the laws of the universe. Please bless us. And we open for this evening. So be it. Okay, share. Okay, Sheila, you want to go?
Sure. Chapter 4, each one. Now there is a divinity of gifts, but the spirit is the same. Paul. What does that one say? Paul what?
Corinthians, Paul 1 and Corinthians
12, 4.
Okay.
In every place, in every place and situation, each one of us each one of us can display divine qualities for the edification of all those who are a part of our lives. Learning and teaching ongoing tasks in which we can take part in increasing the common treasure of wisdom and love.
So what does this mean to you?
I flashed on to say hello to somebody else, like I would say hello to me, like the golden rule. Kind of flashed on that. And that we are all really part of the oneness.
Yeah.
You know, we're just in different times and different lessons.
Yeah, we all have our own different paths.
Right.
Yeah. And so no matter what it is that we're learning and going through, each person's take on what they're going through is going to be different.
Right.
Which is cool. Yeah. And you
well, not only that, if I look at it from a teacher perspective, it's like when I'm teaching these guys, I said, you know, the earlier you get this, the easier it's going to be in the long run. Because the earlier they learn some of these things that they're learning, then they can get to the harder stuff because it all builds.
Right. Exactly. That's cool. Yeah, that's what I was thinking. And the opportunity you have for elevating them, all your students, you know, it's the school to get a better understanding. I think that's pretty cool.
Yeah, I think it's a good thing.
Okay.
Those who administer can express their fairness and magnanimity more often. Those who obey can have more ample resources for demonstrating a job well done. The wealthy, better than anyone else, can do more work and share its blessings. The poor have more latitude to cultivate the wealth of hope and dignity.
Okay, let's stop right there. So those who obey can have more ample resources for demonstrating a job well done. What's your take on that?
My question is, what are we obeying?
The laws of
the law, God's laws.
God's laws.
Laws in general.
And that golden rule, which you just mentioned.
Pretty much golden rule, right? I think more will be given towards you, yeah, and you're more willing to share.
Yeah, ample resources.
Well, that means you have more than enough. So you have more than enough resources to share.
Yeah, I also look at that as being like having more from different angles and different parts of the world, even, or from even like from an elevated being may even be a resource that could help you, on your path. That's
I
another
agree.
way of looking at that.
Yes.
And
Our
then,
angels,
mhm,
Dr. Paulo.
yeah,
Yeah. You get messages all the time.
true. In your dreams,
Yeah.
sometimes I don't know about them being all on the up and up.
Oh, not all of those guys are. No, heck no. You
Right?
got to check them.
And the wealthy, better than anyone, can do more work and share its blessings.
They can. And yet, I don't know. I'm going to say, yes, they can. Yes, they can. But I also think sometimes that they have better write-offs than we do.
Hmm. Well, when I look at this one, I'm looking at the wealthy, better than anyone else, can do more work and share its blessings. That, to me, we can look at a person and assume they're wealthy because they spend every penny they got to look good.
Well, that
look like
doesn't
they
necessarily work that
projecting-
way.
Yeah, they look like they're projecting all this wealth, right?
But they
That's
might have nothing in the bank.
right, exactly. So wealthy, to me, I would look at like Elon Musk, and I guess Oprah Winfrey. I mean, those people who really have, just buckets of money.
Yeah, and I will say the thing about Oprah, no, she was great about giving it away.
And building and helping, but
Yes.
to what extent, I don't really know all of it or what all she does. Like that time too, it was what's that guy's name that married Angelina Jolie? Brad Pitt.
Brad Pitt.
Yeah, they said he went to where they had the hurricanes and stuff, Hurricane Katrina.
Oh,
and
yeah, he went to whatchamacallit, Louisiana.
Yeah, and built homes up there as well. And but I don't know what a lot of wealthy people do. So this is really, God's work and God's eyes on that. But I find that
And well, also, Regina, there's a lot of wealthy people who are athletes who do a lot of give back and don't want people to know.
right.
They don't pride themselves on what they're doing and tell the world what they're doing, and yet they're doing a ton of stuff.
Which is the way it should be, because you don't want accolades from the public or from the public eye. Because especially if you are one of those people, then that is your reward. And I don't want that kind of reward. That I can do without. So I want mine to come from God, period.
No, my happy reward, I tell my students, I go, Mrs. Shea, how do you get, they've asked me before, what makes you happy? And I said, seeing you guys do the right thing. That's it. Do the right thing.
Mhm,
Do
mhm.
what you're supposed to do. And be happy.
Yeah, yeah. Do they hear you?
Some of them do, yeah. Yeah.
And so when they do that, do you say anything openly, like, you have made me very happy?
Oh, yeah. I'll tell them they did a great job. I have this whole thing where I have a prize box
Mhm.
and stuff. They don't get to do homework passes in my class. I hate to say it, they just can't, because they have to know so much math. But I'll give it to them in other ways, like I'll give them extra credit points if they need it, or I'll give them something else, but I let them know that they're doing a great job. And I used to reward them more, but because of COVID, I can't do some of the stuff that I used to do.
Mhm.
So,
So did you read this one, The Poor?
no. Okay. So yes, I did. So the poor have more latitude to cultivate the wealth of hope and dignity. Now, I'm going to say the reason, so when you're poor or have been in a situation where you're down, it really takes a lot to have hope and be grateful for the situation you're in.
Mm-hmm.
And part of this is what I see is latitude is free will.
To move
But
about or to go where they
yeah,
want to go.
yeah. Latitude to cultivate the wealth of hope and dignity, because it's sad to say, but we do live in a society where people make impressions just based on the way you look.
True.
And I've had to put a stop to it this year with some of my children, teasing other children in my class because they don't have Jordans on their feet, or they don't have the latest, greatest designer this on them. And those kids who actually don't have that, their parents are probably some of the wealthier parents.
Mm. You mean they don't have the designer stuff on?
Yeah, they do not. The
Mhm.
kids have basic stuff on. The
Mhm.
parents do not believe in spending that kind of money.
Mhm, mhm.
Where some of my other kids, they're all decked out and
Yeah, yes, yeah. Showing off and
yeah,
yeah. I think Taylor works with a lot of the public as well, and a lot of these different personalities. So it says the strong can more easily be benevolent at any time. But Taylor, did you have anything you want to say about the poor?
Yeah, I mean, I think kind of what you guys were saying, like it is hard to be hopeful, in situations where it's not easy to look at the bright side of your like everyday life. Um, some people do have that innate like nature about them, and it's hard because a lot of people just don't have anybody, you know.
Mhm.
And I think a lot of times they're forced to build connection with people. And I see that a lot of times, like even in drug use, like people use drugs to build connection with people sometimes, you know, and it's like, it sucks, but it's like, that's just a fact of it. And, it's something we all need at the end of the day is connection and community.
True. It's true. And I think it's interesting, no matter where we are, or how big or how high we put ourselves mentally, we'll never be higher than the next person in God's eye.
Right, right.
Mhm. Wow. Very good. Okay, Sheila.
oh, the strong can be more easily benevolent at any time, meaning to me that in some level they've been through a lot. They can probably put themselves in those situations
Mhm.
and see a brighter side, or might have a word to say that might help somebody in a positive way.
Mhm.
The weak can be humble.
Wait a minute,
What?
the strong can more easily be benevolent at any time. And what's the strong though?
Well, the way I picture it, it's somebody who's already been through a lot
Mhm.
and has had the life experience or the experiences that they can, when a situation is happening, they can take the higher road.
Shoot, girl, that sounds like parenting.
Kinda, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Well, it also reminds me of first responders.
Oh, okay.
So because they've got to be strong,
to face what other people can't face at a time of crisis when they're going in to save lives,
Mm-hmm.
where other people might not necessarily be able to do that,
Yeah.
you know, and they also have to, you know, be calm or try to have an exterior that they are calm, even if they might be freaking out on the inside.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's true.
But I also see strong can be easily more benevolent at any time, meaning if you have those life experiences, sometimes you just happen to be in the place that's the right time to be able to be strong,
Mm-hmm.
you know?
Yeah, yeah. Okay, go ahead to the next one.
The weak can be humble on any occasion without embarrassment. Well, the weak, interesting wording, because shouldn't we all be able to be humble
Mm-hmm.
on any occasion without embarrassment? We're not, though, depending on the situation. But why, my question is why the weak?
I don't know. That would be a good one to ask Sonia, but she's not. She's busy doing something over there. I don't know.
Okay,
The weak can be humble on any occasion without embarrassment. I don't know. That's a good question. The weak.
well, you know, what comes to mind is, did you ever go to the Philippines?
No.
Okay. I just, it comes to mind is when I hear these stories from people who've gone to the Philippines, where the people are so dirt poor, but yet they're so happy in their existence. They have nothing and they're still happy and grateful.
Mhm.
And they're not embarrassed about their situation. So they have a good outlook.
Oh, okay. Okay. Well, that sounds good. But you know, even people, they, to me, I take that as a person who actually accepts their surroundings, whatever, wherever they are and whatever they have. Yeah,
Yeah.
accepting whatever it is in present time.
And they're okay with their at, whatever their skin is.
Yeah, yeah,
I get what you're saying.
yeah. Yeah. Okay, go ahead.
Their learn can help everybody with their expansive knowledge, hence renewing the general thought for good.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree.
And I also think those people who are really good mediums are very good at being able to express more levels of mediumship and understanding of the interacting with different spirits and understanding more about spirituality, in my opinion, because I mean, those who are morally tuned in. And because they have a place, they put all of these rules of in place and they don't forget them. You know what I mean?
Yes.
Yeah, I get it.
And it's always good to help, like even a child to understand, like for instance, if a child comes to you and says, well, what happens when you die? You know, there's a lot that happens, you know, depends on how morally, how upstanding you lived your life morally and in the surrounding God, and then teaching the child that there's no such thing as death, teaching them that you don't sit in no graveyard and wait for the second coming. You know, life is still moving. There's still life going on above and below you.
True. True.
Mhm. Where are we? Okay. All right, Sheila.
Hang on.
Okay.
All right, where am I? Oh, learners with their many opportunities can always distribute the wealth of goodwill.
Mm-hmm.
The healthy can practice charity far and wide.
Mm-hmm.
The sick
Okay.
can more convincingly teach lessons of patience all around. I agree with that one. Man, the last one I definitely agree with, because the first time I had foot surgery and I was in a cast, I can't tell you how many people will go walk right in front of me or do stuff on the elevator, and where I've almost like, people, my friends were like, you know, shut the door in my face.
Mm.
And I'd have to sit there and go, did you just see that?
Oh, I see. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Because a
Wow.
lot of people get weird when people are in wheelchairs or they have a broken leg or there's something wrong with them. They
Mhm,
think of them as a defect in some way
mhm,
when they
mhm,
might be in the middle of healing.
mhm. That's true. You know, and if a person hasn't no life experience in anything, they're not tuned in. And I think a lot that's true for a lot of young people too, trying to find their way in life. They're not tuned in, you know, to other people around them, because it's about me, 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 right?
Yeah.
And
Yeah,
so,
they're in that stage.
right. And so, and their life is moving and they're so busy trying to find their footing that they don't really usually focus in on anyone else. They don't, they're not patient about it, you know,
Yeah. I
because
have
it
a
doesn't
student like I
concern
talked
them.
to you about, you know, he just wants all that's his and doesn't care about anybody else.
Yeah.
He'll get his stuff when I ask to go get the tables stuff. He looks at me like I'm crazy. I'm just getting mine. I ain't getting anybody else's. And everybody else is willing to take a whole table groups to the table.
Mhm.
So it's, yeah, it is the me, me, me mode for some of them.
Mm. Wow. Okay.
So we also have natural gifts. So in this next one, thus the gifts may be different. Intelligence may be characterized by various levels of worthiness displays and various qualities. Ability is a result of effort, but divine spirit that sustains everyone is substantially the same. So the way I look at that is we're all born with natural gifts. And either we utilize those gifts or we don't utilize those gifts. And I also believe in the ability effort, meaning that sometimes you have to sit there and do the work in order for the work to pay off, because you might not be at the level that you need to be. So it's going to take you to where you need to be. But we are basically from God, so we are all the same.
Yeah, we all have the same starting point. I agree with that.
Yes.
The gifts may be different.
Yes.
Intelligence may be characterized by various levels. The levels is this: when you are, each lifetime, however much you put into whatever direction you're in, that is a level in which you're teaching yourself.
Right.
Like for those who are into spiritism and elevating their life so that they can be more pure, because each lifetime we are purifying ourselves, some slower than others. You know, there's no judgment because we're all on different paths. And who's to say what that lesson is that you're after that will help elevate you? I don't know. But I do know that the work that stays with you is that in which you teach your mind. All this other stuff falls away. The things that we learn about God never goes away. All the other stuff,
I believe that.
the unnecessary stuff that's not relative to God, it has no relevance. So there's no point in keeping it. So that's why it's important to teach yourself as much as you can. And also you learn like how your teacher, Taylor's in psychology or social work, Sonia's into social work. The more you learn about interacting and the intelligence of it and the characters and personalities and how to deal with different people, this to me is a different level of growth, but it's still growing, you know?
It's growth because you're dealing with multiple individuals in different situations. And
Mhm.
you're trying to, both of us in some way are trying to help somebody on their path to a
Right.
better way.
Exactly.
You know, we're
Yeah.
just one little cog in the big wheel.
And the wordiness displays various qualities. So, and like, you know, how sometimes you might have a child in your class and you say, oh, this kid is gifted. Oh, this kid knows this and this. There's no such thing as a gift. These things, this child earned this in other lifetimes. Everybody learns everything. So, and they just spent more time. And some of the kids, it may be really difficult because they're younger in the mind. They're younger, they hadn't exercised their brain muscles to learn or to
Well, that and some of them are young
be a
spirits.
student. Huh?
A lot of that, and some of them are young spirits.
Well, I don't know, because they could have jacked off a whole lot of their time, you know.
True. Oh, true. Yeah, you're right.
I don't know. And so no matter if you did jack off all your time, you're still at the starting gate. So you could look like a very young spirit. We're just like you say, I don't know. And the divine spirit that sustains everyone is substantially the same. So the divine spirit, in my opinion, are those who come to teach and are a little bit more elevated than the others, than we are, or so on. Like, to me, all of these guys that behind me are divine in a way that
Yes, they are. They're ascended.
they help us, you
Yes.
know. And that's a huge, huge blessing to have that ability to be able to hear them or get that lesson from someone. I think that's amazing, because they have always let me how would you say, they've always taken the dark side of spirits, you know, and ostracize them and use them to horrify people, and rarely the benevolent side. I mean, you know, it happens more so like now in this time of the year, where people talk about angels and they're talking about Jesus, and you know, that part they try to work on that elevation. But the spiritual side of it all, you know, like, all spirits are not the same. That just because you see a spirit, they're not all bad. And so what I like now is that it's being more and more accepted that there is life after death. I mean, they're doing it in an odd way in the movies anyway, but it's still coming out more and more.
Yes, it is. I agree.
Okay, let's go ahead to the next.
All of us can accomplish much in our particular station in life. Take a good look at your position and attend to the imperatives of the infinite good. Place above your own, and the divine will make use of you.
Yeah, your position as being a teacher, you have, like you were saying, the ability to do the best you can with those young minds, and to help turn their negativity into a positive, and to educate them about like you were saying about them teasing somebody about not having a name brand on their shoe, or whatever the kids are into these days, you have the opportunity to correct their ignorance.
Yeah. And, and so the last sentence though, place above your own will, divine will. So it's, what is it? What's the saying? Where is it? Where you're saying, our Father who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name, thy kingdom come. No, thy will be done. Thine will be done, not my will, thine will. So God's will be done. So you're saying God's will be done before your will be done.
Mhm.
And the way I look at that is if I invite, like in the morning, sometimes on the way in, after I talk to you, I pray.
Mhm.
And I always ask that God come into the class.
Mhm.
So we have a good day.
Well, yeah. That's always a good thing to do. Divine will
Yeah.
make this.
So I believe in that.
Yeah. Yeah, I do too. Even before I get in my car, I don't care where I have to pray. Okay. Oops. I guess that's it, huh?
Yay. Because
Yeah.
my throat's killing me.
Well, it's not killing you. It just hurts.
It just hurts. That's true.
It's better.
Oh yeah, I have to isolate for 5 days. I'm all
Yeah.
right.
She's got COVID.
Yeah.
Is it
Yeah.
your first time?
Yeah. And I
Well,
I have 70 students this year. So, and what? So yeah, I've always tested negative every week. And I took a test and I went, and then I took another test. Maybe that's a false positive because I've never seen that
Right.
line. So I took a second test and I went, whoops, I guess I'm calling.
Yeah.
That's
Well,
one way to get some time off, since you won't take it on if you need it.
Well, that's what I said to Dee Dee. I said, I guess this is divine intervention. I guess what God wanted me to have a couple days off.
Yeah.
So there you go.
Okay, well, let's do the closing prayer. Either one of you guys, Taylor, you do the closing prayer. You can if you want.
Okay. I don't know
Don't
what
laugh.
it is.
Jeez Louise.
I always get so nervous.
Girls, just 3 of us. Go
I
ahead.
know. Okay. Dear Father, thank you for this learning today. And thank you as we close out, reading about everything and discussing our interpretation. And hopefully we have a good rest of the week. Happy holidays. Amen.
Amen.
Thank you.
May the light of God be blessed within all of us. Hey, like it's going to shine so bright. This is when most people can have it.
Yes.
So